or good morning. If you're just waking up, I know this is late. There's no construction going on. But I just got back from a 3-mile run and a 1-hour bar class. So we're just gonna do some very light stretching, little yoga. All right, so tonight maybe we want a pillow, any kind of pillow, but something a little thinner and longer will do best. Maybe we have a blanket or a sweatshirt we can fold up, and that mat. We're just gonna get nice and cozy, starting with that easy seat. We can also, if we have like books, we can place those under our legs to help support ourselves, or bringing that booty onto that pillow. Whatever makes it super comfortable here, sitting up nice and tall. We're just gonna start with breathing, feeling our belly fill, and then our lungs. And exhaling anything out that needs to get out. Just coming into this present moment. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. Really starting to slow down. Last breath here. I have to start my watch. And on our next inhale, we'll flutter those eyes open, bringing those hands to heart center on that exhale. As we inhale, we're going to shoot those arms forward and open our arms all the way back, squeezing those shoulder blades, maybe lifting that gaze. And as we exhale, bringing it back in and into our chest, heart center. That's what it's called. Big inhale as we shoot it open. Stretch all the way back, filling that body. Exhale as we bring it back to heart center. Last one here. Hey, I have the screens up. How'd you get in here, buggies? And exhale. All right, we're gonna go overhead this time, palms facing together. Big inhale. And slight bend in that back. Exhale as we come back to neutral, stacking that spine, one vertebrae on top of the other. Big inhale. And exhale. One more. And exhale. Screens don't work, Mom. All right, we can remove that pillow. We're gonna come into our child's pose. So knees nice and wide, feet together, shooting that booty back, stretching those arms forward. Just breathing into that back. One more breath here. And then our next inhale, lifting up on that left arm a little bit as we dive that right arm underneath that armpit, placing that right ear on the ground. If this is too much, we can bend that arm. If we need it deeper, walking that hand out. Breathing into that shoulder. One more breath here. And then our next inhale, bringing that hand back forward and diving the other hand under. Thread the needle on the other side, getting that left ear on the mat, bending that right arm if we need it. It should be comfortable. We should be completely relaxed, not tensing those muscles. Just breathing. Last breath here. All right, we're gonna come back into that child's pose, bringing ourselves up to that tabletop position, hands directly under those shoulders, knees under those hips. Neutral spine, engaging that core. One more breath here. And on our next inhale, we're gonna drop that belly, lift that gaze, sliding those shoulder blades down that back. cow pose. And as we exhale, reversing that, bringing the navel into the spine, pushing that mat away. Big inhale, we can really dive into this cow. And then undive into that cat. Really getting that spine moving. Last one. And coming back to neutral. We're going to take that left leg out to the side, placing that outer foot so our foot is flat on the mat and that knee is directly under that hip. The back foot is on the mat. We're still in that tabletop arm position. As we inhale, we're just going to push back as far as we can go. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Keeping that spine neutral. Last one. Inhale back. Exhale forward. All right, coming back to that tabletop position. We're going to take that same left leg straight out, over to the side, dropping over that right foot, then tapping that toe to the mat so we're supported. Finding that neutral spine. Big inhale as we lengthen that crown of the head away from the tailbone. And then as we exhale, we're going to look back at that foot, creating a C in that spine. That core is still slightly engaged to keep that nice tabletop position. Slight bend in those elbows. Last breath here. All right, dropping that leg back underneath us. Taking the right foot out this time, planting the outer edge of that right foot down. Finding that nice tabletop position. Inhale as we drop. Exhale. Feeling the stretch in this inner thigh. Inhale, drop. Exhale back. Last one. Best one. Deepest one. Or as far as our knees will allow us to go. Mine's a little creaky. All right, back to that tabletop position. We're going to take that same right foot straight out, taking it over to the side, then checking in on that form, making sure those hips are square, that hip's still over that knee. Big inhale as we lengthen that spine. And then exhale as we take that gaze back to that foot, creating that C in that spine, making sure that shoulder's not dropping down. We're just creating a C. Feeling that rib cage expand. One more breath here. And on that exhale, coming back to center. In that tabletop position, we're going to raise that right hand, point those fingers towards us, flipping that hand so the palm is facing up. If this feels fine, we'll stay right here. If we want to pull back a little bit, maybe put a little more pressure, just very gently, just a quick wrist stretch. One more breath. And other side. Flipping that palm towards us. Palm towards the sky. Hand towards us. It's a good one if you're sitting at your desk and you just need to do something other than grab a mouse. All right. Back to our tabletop position. We're going to walk those hands out slightly, planting that right knee, bringing that left knee forward, finding our pigeon pose. So this pillow might come into handy here. We can always place it under that booty so we're fully supported. Finding that nice position. The closer that foot is to that inner leg, the easier it'll be. If we want to start moving it out, making it harder, we can. But finding that spot that feels good with your knee. Either fully supported with that pillow or taking it away. All right, big inhale as we lift that head high to the sky, sliding those shoulder blades down. And as we exhale, folding over that leg. We can come to our forearms We can roll up that blanket and bring that underneath us. We can stay right here. Whatever feels right. I'm going all the way down now. Enjoying this stretch. We're only here for one more breath. All right, inhale as we take those hands underneath us again, peeling ourselves up to that position. We're gonna take that same leg out to the side, making it parallel with that mat. All right, this is another one where we can support ourselves with that pillow if we need, or taking it away. We can find those goalpost arms, bringing that ear to the mat. Not an intense stretch, but a good one. I love yoga. Last breath here. Inhaling those hands underneath us once again, bringing ourselves back up to tabletop. Checking in on that form. We're gonna walk those hands out slightly, bring that right knee underneath us this time. We can shoot that left leg back or bring that pillow underneath us to support that groin. Is that the word? All right, big inhale as we lift ourselves high to the sky, filling that body with oxygen. And as we exhale, bringing it down to wherever feels right for you. Enjoying it while we're here. It might feel a little intense. We can always back it off, use that support. It could even be a throw pillow from home. Last breath here. All right, inhaling those hands underneath those shoulders, bringing ourselves back up from wherever we were. Taking that leg out, finding that parallel mark, bringing that pillow underneath us if we need it. We love half frog. One more breath here. All right, inhaling those hands underneath those shoulders. Once again, we are going to cross those ankles, coming onto our booties. Taking those feet straight out in front of us. Trying to sit nice and tall. Once again, we can grab that pillow if we have it and sit up. It makes it a lot easier to get that nice form. It's not cheating, we're just stretching. Big inhale as we lengthen that spine. And then as we exhale, folding towards those legs. If we want, we can bend those knees and keep that spine long. Unless it feels better for you to straighten those legs and curve that spine. Either way. I went on a run, so I'm stretching my hamstrings. So I have my knees bent and my spine long. And we're just breathing into it. One more breath here. Exhale, releasing, rolling ourselves all the way back up to seated. We can move that pillow if we have it. Taking those feet straight out in front of us, booties on the floor. If we want, we can grab onto those legs. Scooping that belly in as we round all the way down. Once we get to the bottom, we're gonna take those feet a little wider than hips distance, bringing that left knee to that right ankle. Big inhale here, and as we exhale, we can bring that knee, that right knee in to as far as it feels good. If it feels good here, we can be right here. But if it feels good here, we'll be here. Staying here, one more breath. On your next exhale, we're gonna drop both those knees to the ground once again, finding that little wider than mat's distance. We're gonna take the right knee
over the left, nope, right foot over the left knee this time. Wow, I screwed myself up. Big inhale as we lengthen that body, and as we exhale, bringing that right knee, left knee to the other side. Help me. Breathing into it, enjoying this stretch. One more breath here. And exhale, releasing back down to the mat. We're gonna take those feet wider than hips distant, or wider than the mat. And then bringing those knees in. We're just gonna sway those knees back and forth, finding those windshield wipers. So inhale as we come up, exhale as we drop them down. We can take this nice and slow. I'm gonna fall asleep. All right, last one here. All right, hugging those knees into that chest, giving yourself a nice big, big hug. We're gonna find that tabletop position. We can take those hands out to that goal post. Big inhale, and as we exhale, dropping those knees to one side. We're just gonna do the other side right away so we don't get confused. If we need to, we can use that pillow once again. Bringing those knees, making sure there's no muscles being used here. We're just relaxing. If we want, we can bring that hand down, whatever. We don't want it to be intense. Last breath here. On our next inhale, we're gonna bring those knees back up to center, and exhale, giving them one big nice hug. And on our next inhale, shooting them back out to that tabletop position, finding those goalpost arms and draping them off to the side. If we need to use that pillow for support, just make sure we're not using any muscles here. One more breath here. All right, on our next inhale, bringing those knees back up to center. Exhale as we hug them. We're gonna grab behind those thighs and rock and roll ourselves up to seated once again. Bringing those feet out in front of us. If we want to use that pillow, we can grab that. Makes it a little easier when you're higher. Okay, those feet are coming out straight in front of us. Those arms are coming out straight in front of us. All right, as we exhale, we're just gonna scoop that belly in, reaching for those toes, but not really. More just pulling that spine away. And as we inhale, stacking ourselves back up one vertebrae at a time. Inhale as we round that spine, spinal stretch. Inhale as we come back up to seated. I'll show you from here. So sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, scooping around you. Oh, it feels so good. And then exhale, stacking back up. Last one. Inhale, around. Exhale, back up. All right, we're gonna take it to a wide-legged fold. So just taking those legs out nice and wide. You can still use that pillow if we want it. Inhale as we raise those arms up high to the sky. And as we exhale, finding our level of hard. This might be a little intense. We can use that, I don't know, books and stuff to get those elbows supported if we're a little higher, or we can still use those arms. Whatever our level of heart is. Alright, inhaling ourselves back up to center. We are going to come off of those pillows if we are on them. We got one more stretch. And that's happy baby, you guessed it. Inhale as we bring those feet up towards those hands. balance here. Big inhale as you find that balance, and as you exhale, sinking into it. I hope there's no holes in it. All right, we can take whatever stretch we need, but before you get up and go about your day or jump into bed, I highly recommend a quick Savasana, your choice. I like to put my pillow under my knees to fully support that lower back, so I feel like I'm just having a grand old time. And then just think about what we're hearing. What sounds do you hear? Don't identify them. Just listen to them. And enjoy your Savasana. Use the blanket over you too. All right, I will see you in the morning for our workout.